Hello, welcome to Simply Country Cuisine. So today we're going to try something new to me, and they are called cinnamon roll muffins. The recipe kind of reminded me of the cinnamon buns that you get, but anyway, we're going to give this a try and see how this works. All right, so we need 2 cups of flour. Now I have already measured 2 cups out, but I want to show this to our new cooks. When you're scooping flour from a container, if you scoop it up like this, it's not going to be a full cup measure. Always put your flour into your cup, your measuring cup, and kind of pounce it down. Now this one isn't a good one to flatten off, but you put it in there and it makes a full 2 cups. I mean a full cup measure. But if you scoop it in there, you're going to get air. I just wanted to put that little bit of note in there. So we're going to measure 2 cups of flour. And again, I already have it measured. One tablespoon of baking powder. A half a teaspoon of salt. 1/4 of a cup of granulated sugar. And I'm going to give this a toss up just to blend the dry ingredients together. In my glass measure, I've got 3 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm going to add 1 cup of cold milk. And 1 egg. The reason I did this, I just didn't want to get any shell in it. I'll give this a blend up. We're going to mix this into the dry ingredients, but it says stir it in, but do not stir it in completely. It says, it emphasizes in this menu or this recipe, do not overmix. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it getting tough. So I'm going to pour this into my dry ingredients. I think I'm going to start with the spoon. Because again, we don't want to overmix it. All right, got this kind of blended. Now, we're going to make a cinnamon mixture. I have 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 1 firmly packed cup of brown sugar, and 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. There we go. 1 tablespoon of cinnamon. And just a dash of salt. So I'll put a little dash in my hand and give it a pop in there. And I'm going to kind of blend this together. You can see it's kind of a dry consistency. This is going to be all the goodness in these muffins. All right, now the instructions say to fold half of this mixture into this batter. So we're going to I'm going to kind of take my spatula, divide it off, because I need half of it for the top of the muffins. And I don't think I want to cheat myself on that. All right, now I'm going to stir this into the batter. It says just until there's no streaks of the flour, but you will see streaks of the cinnamon and brown sugar. This smells good. Try to kill all those little flour bubbles in there. All right, that looks good to me. Now, going to get my scoop. I've lined my muffin pan with my cake liners and sprayed them just a little bit. I'm going to sprinkle the remaining of the muffin crumble over top after I fill them up. So I'm going to scoop in. I usually do a scoop and a half, and that fills it about 2/3 of a way full. If you fill it up any fuller, it's going to come out over the top of your muffin cup. And you can ask my daughter. I like everything pretty consistent in size. And this will make a really yummy autumn breakfast, I think. With a nice big tall cup of hot cocoa. Or coffee. All right, there's a little more batter in here, but we'll get to that a little bit. Now I'm going to use my fingers here. I'm going to take a little bit of this crumb topping and just give it a little sprinkle on each muffin, as I can feel the nice warm butter in there. It's gonna melt down into that. Okay. Now we're going to put this in a 400-degree oven, which I have had preheating, for 12 to 15 minutes, or until the toothpick comes out clean. And then we're going to transfer them over to cool. And while they're cooking, I'm going to make a frosting glaze that will drizzle over the top of them. So these are going to the oven. All right, the timer went off. Our muffins are done. Take them out. Oh, look how nice and pretty brown they are. I'm going to transfer them over to the cooling rack. Now, I just wanted to show you this. I had a little bit of the muffin batter left, and I'm making a little bitty loaf of the muffin mix and a bread that I can give away as a gift. But I'm going to set the timer for the loaf of bread for another 10 more minutes because it was thicker than the muffin. Reminds me of Germany. We lived in Germany for about 4 years. And there was a little bakery down from our house, and we'd go down and get brötchen and eggs and things for breakfast. And they had the most delicious cinnamon rolls ever. Now, I thought it would be easier to drizzle the icing on them while they were here on the rack. So I'm going to mix up the frosting, which is 1 tablespoon of melted butter into 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon of good maple syrup. Now, I'll show you a little trick. You could take a spray and do it, but I have a little butter in here. I'm gonna line the inside of my spoon with a little bit of the butter, so when I pour the syrup in it, oh, and that was a little bit more, but it pours out easier. And a teaspoon of vanilla. And last but not least, 2 tablespoons of milk. One, 2. And give this a stir. Oh yeah, this is going to turn into a nice drizzle. Just get all of your ingredients incorporated together. We'll drizzle these while they're on the rack, and I have a wooden cutting board underneath it, so it'll clean up easy. And remember how we drizzled those oatmeal cookies? We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to drizzle it right over top of the muffins. Hi, welcome back. Now we're going to get to try this awesome smelling cinnamon roll muffin. And with it, I'm going to have a cup of this Cafe au lait by H-E-B. It's a commemorative collection with the eagle on it. I was in H-E-B the other day, and this sweet young girl was offering them up samples, and I said, let me take some home and I'll make some muffins with it and try it and see how it is. So we're going to give that a try as well. All right, let's give this delicious muffin a try now. Nice and warm. I'm gonna have another bite. Cinnamony. I can taste the maple syrup in the frosting. Really good. Let's see what this. Perfect match. So don't forget to stop by and get some of this commemorative coffee from H-E-B. I want to share with you my devotion I had this morning, and I think I've mentioned this to you before about allowing Satan to steal your joy. And this comes out of the Jesus Calling devotion, and it says, remember that joy is not dependent on our circumstances. He says, do not judge a day as devoid of joy just because it contains difficulties. Instead, concentrate on staying in communication with Him. Many of the problems that clamor for our attention will resolve themselves. Other matters we might have to deal with, but God will help us with them. If you make a problem solving secondary to the goal of living closer to God, you can find joy even in your most difficult days. And I just wanted to share that because lately I've been letting the world steal my joy, and I'm going to try really hard not to. If you don't have a place to worship, please come join us at GT Leander Assembly of God, the church on the hill across from the post office. And please subscribe and like and comment on the video that you see on YouTube. Thank you for joining us and have a wonderful week.